Charles Van Morgan Live. Charles Van Morgan Live on YouTube. Charles Van Morgan Show. Got a great show for you today. Let's turn this thing around. If we can here. Charles Van Morgan Live in the morning. We get starting a little early this morning. So come on in, come on in. Got a great show for you today. Got a great show for you today. Charles Van Morgan Live in the morning. Come on in. Headed down to the bridge. Let's turn this thing around. Starting a little early today to catch the morning crowd. Charles Van Morgan Live in the morning. Starting a little early to catch the morning crowd. Got a great show for you today. On our way to a location to show you on Saturday morning how the government doesn't operate. We're going to talk about again today about white collar crime, suit crime, crimes of the affluent committed by people in positions of power. There's broad definitions of it, but we are specifically talking about people that are privileged, the crimes they commit in positions of power. I'm Charles Van Morgan. Good morning, the Charles Van Morgan Show. We're live in the morning this time. We may do shows in the evening. We're going to cover news events. I'm a sociologist. I have a Master of Arts from University of Tennessee in sociology. I also have a Doctor of Jurisprudence, a law degree. I'm a doctor in the law, and we're going to do journalism from a sociological perspective. We have a very important insight, and we're covering right now, generally, we're covering suit crime, crimes of the affluent. So I have to be very careful this morning because I'm wearing dark clothes. Don't want to get runned over, as they say in East Tennessee. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining me. Charles Van Morgan Show. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Might do a Charles Van Morgan evening. And wherever you're at, all over the world, this can benefit you because of the fact that I'm going to tell you how to get power to you, the people. I'm going to talk about why. Because of white collar crime, crimes committed by people, influential people, privileged people in the course of their privileged professions. So let's turn this my alarm off. Wake up, wake up. It's telling me to wake up. Reconnect. Already got 22 people on here. So Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Thank y'all. Rudy Roblox player, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. So come on in this morning. We're talking about white collar criminals. These are people that do much more harm than your average street criminal. And they're much more detrimental to society. And we're going to point it out. The news doesn't talk about it. That's why I put my picture. If you'll see the thumbnail is a picture of me in front of a news channel. They don't report this kind of crime. They don't report it very often until it gets to such disastrous proportions that they cannot continue to have the facade of the legitimacy of the illegitimate government, which is what it is. It's an illegitimate government. It's crooked. And they hang somebody out also because of maybe they're standing against them. So the news don't report it unless they've got a specific narrative in mind. And the narrative that they've got in mind, the news media, doesn't benefit you, I guarantee you. But we are live worldwide on YouTube, and we're even advertising, going to a place. We're still here live now and live in the morning, and on YouTube. And we're broadcasting the real news from a unbridled journalist. And we can tell you the truth, and we don't have to be restrained. And if YouTube takes me off for telling the truth, and I'm not saying anything that's not the truth or anything that's violent or dangerous, I'm not sharing in the conspiracy, violent rhetoric. I'm not into all that. I'm into the truth from a scientific, sociological perspective, and I'll report on the news. Truthfully, you won't hear that anywhere else. Nonviolence. I promote voting. So this morning, hang with me, and we will discuss what's wrong with people in power in our government. What's wrong with our government is because we got crooks in power all over the world. If you got crooks in power, this is a channel for you. I know what I'm talking about. Educated, and I'm also, unlike Charlie Kirk, I believed a lot of things he said, but I have got a life experience. So I have seen what I'm saying. Not only read it in textbooks, some of the stuff in textbooks is not true. Some of it is. I've lived it from a life experience and read the studies, the scientific studies that other people have seen and done. And I'm unbridled. I'll tell you the truth. Look at the news channel. That I got on my thumbnail, they'll tell you what the government wants you to hear. It's state-sponsored news media. Now, I will say, WBIR here recently has treated me fairly. They allowed me to be on the show. You can look it up. Because one of the means to get out our message is to run for public office. And there's no way we could probably win. We couldn't have in the past. We're getting closer now because of state-run elections, because of state bias. But the way to combat that is get the message out to fight these people in power, these crooked people in state government. Charles Van Morgan show, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Watch this show. You'll get the unbridled truth from an expert, according to their own university, the University of Tennessee. Unlike Charlie Kirk, who was, I believe, a great man that proclaimed the gospel. He wasn't right about everything. He was only 31 years old. He hadn't had a chance to live. And I'm not saying 31 years old people aren't very smart, but I've lived almost twice as long as them. And I've seen things with my own eyes and experienced things, had tests that I've been through. Life lived experience is the best lesson a lot of times. So I can tell you from an expert level from their universities that he didn't have a degree, and from a life lived experience, what's going on. I believe in my heart and mind, and you can take it for whatever it's worth. There's the rooster. Human behavior and rooster behavior is predictable. And we're going to predict human behavior in the government. We're going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to tell you because it's predictable. Routinely throughout history, events have taken place. Social behavior is a science. It can be studied and routinely predicted. And we're going to predict it. So we're going to talk about white collar crime. Come on in, join me this morning. Like, share, and comment. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Charles Van Morgan show. So from a educated, life lived perspective, journalist, we're going to talk about some of the things that have been on the news, and we're going to maybe set you at ease about a few things. Toward the end of the video, I want to talk about crime. My expertise is in sociology with an emphasis in criminology. I also have that expertise in the law. But today we're gonna talk about white collar crime, suit crime, crimes of the affluent. How they're much more dangerous to you than other crimes. We're going to talk about Bill Goober, his crimes that cost Tennesseans their lives in Tennessee. A crime of the affluent that used his position to lie, and how they got the judicial system rigged, that they say what these politicians want them to say. And just because you get elected to public office does not mean in the United States of America that you can trample all over the Constitution, that you can trample all over due process. And that's what they do. That's where the crime comes in. Now you can testify and you can go after what you want to in legal proceedings, but you shouldn't own the courts. You shouldn't own the courts. The courts are subject to the Constitution, not people who elected you in office, that they get to decide what is fact and what's not fact. Now, that's where it steps way over the line, costs people their lives, and that's where it's not America anymore. It's where you're trampling on the blood of soldiers, and you're not following our way of life, which is a theme in the Constitution, which is individuals, one person, me, you, all across America. And if you don't know the countries, then you ought to have it or fight for it. Is one person has rights, protection from the whole government. Our Constitution protects one person. That one document is an agreement that was made when we set up the United States of America that protects one person from the whole forces of the government of the United States of America. It means there are certain things that they can't do to you. You can invoke the Constitution. You can't do that to me. Here's the Constitution. All the police forces, all the power, all the authority of the United States government in America, they're not all supreme. They can't do certain things. You can hold up the Constitution. You can't tell me I can't speak out against you. First Amendment protects one person. But then you get, which is what I'm talking about today, then you get white collar criminals. Then you get criminals that have got elected to public office by lying to you. One of them, Bill Goober, the former commissioner of the Department of Safety, that was the former prosecutor in Memphis, over the biggest county in one of the biggest counties in the state of Tennessee, lied to you to get elected because he put his hand over his heart and swore to uphold the Constitution, and then he goes on to use the courts to promote lies and falsehoods, and I wonder how many people he's falsely put in jail. So we're talking about horrific crimes, horrifying crimes of the people in power, status crimes, that rich, affluent people that use their money and influence to wrongly get elected, promise to uphold the Constitution, and then use their money and influence to defy our way of life and to use the court systems roguely and to cause great, grave social harm. You won't hear that on the news. They don't want to talk about that because they're part of that problem, because they won't point it out. Because if they do, these people in power will use the court system like they've used against me to go after them. That's why you need to listen to me and not the mainstream media. Now, as I said, I have a picture of WBIR Channel 10 here in Knoxville, which is I think it is a NBC affiliate. And they have been treating me right here lately, which I think the trend will continue because of a tactic I've used. I've been very disruptive. They wouldn't let me talk on air. So what I did was I created a legal forum against them right outside their news show. You can look at the video. I had a video, asked them to put me on there. They wouldn't. So I had a little news show like I'm holding right now, a camera, talking about how rogue they were. And then I ran for public office and they put me on the air. As opposed to WVLT, the crooked news channel that lied about me in order to control the vote, to keep the vote down. And I wouldn't listen to WVLT until they make a public apology to me. So one of the ways to get these people to act right is not to go along with their dirty program, is to fight them, stand up against them, contest them. And that's what I'm about, this channel, Charles Van Morgan Show. It's not just a show, it's a movement. And by being a part of this movement, by liking and sharing and commenting and being a part of this movement and viewing and letting others know, friends calling friends can beat bought elections. Friends calling friends can give you your rights back. By creating a monster organization, power to you the people, we can cause these people so much trouble that it's not worth it to them. So much legitimate trouble, not violence. I'm not promoting violence. I'm promoting voting. We can have so many votes that that they will not go against us. We can stomp on their toes, so to speak, and they will have to listen to us. It's been done before. Lester Roloff, they shut his homes down. The government shut his homes down for children and orphans and put him in jail. And he fought the governor of the state of Texas using his pulpit, and I'm using a pulpit now. It's the World Wide Web, and you can help. And he used his pulpit, and he got the governor of Texas voted out of office. So public attention, like I'm creating, public news, truthful public journalism, and I'll explain it to you from a sociological perspective, how they are damaging you. Specific instances of a crime, how they have hurt you in the past and caused you grave harm more than what they police. They police street crime. Street crime is your regular thug criminal out here that rapes, robs, murders, and steals. We're going to talk about that at the end of towards the end of the broadcast, some of the news shows going on, some of the incidents in the news, and my take on it from a sociological perspective. And then we're going to ease your mind about some things about crime. Maybe some things you worry about, you shouldn't worry about from a statistical, factual matter, scientifically counting numbers, what's likely to what has happened, what's likely to happen, and the public's perception. Maybe your perception is not right. Maybe you shouldn't worry about things that you worry about. We'll talk about that toward the end. So hang with us. Charles Van Morgan Show. Educated, life lived unbridled, sociologist, journalist. And we'll cover news, help us go all over the state. So subscribe to the channel. We only like just a few more subscribers. You can keep this channel going. We don't have a big bureaucracy. We don't have government over our shoulder telling me what to do. If they shut me down, check me out on Rumble or Telegram, or just remember the brand name, Charles Van Morgan, because I'm going to put the truth out. The truth's going to get out, and we're going to keep doing this. We're not going to get shut up. We're going to keep telling you the truth because it's damaging to you. And I believe, take it for what it's worth, that God's trained me to do this. You know, David fought a lion and a bear in his early life. Taught him how to fight the giant. He didn't need a lot of equipment, a lot of fancy equipment that they had. He went with what he had. He had a sling. I got a cell phone. God's put me through a lot of training in my life, all my education. And when I was on the highway patrol, I was out fighting to keep the roads safe. Very effective. I led the state of Tennessee in protecting the roads more than any other trooper in the state, far exceeding the closest trooper in keeping fatality rates down. When they lied on me, that's how the government committed a crime, is they lied on me and inhibited your public safety. And I learned, I was good at fighting, keeping the roads safe, fighting real crime on the street. And I wasn't assigned to crimes of the affluent, but I even stopped some of the crimes of the affluent. I stopped a man that was using credit card theft, a multi-state credit card theft ring in 2010 that stole thousands and thousands of dollars all across several states with a credit card theft room that was from a major university, and shut his organization down. So crimes of the affluent, crimes of the rich. So I've been trained, and I believe led by God. If you disagree, let me know. And we're going to get this journalism, this channel going that you won't hear anywhere else. And today we're talking about one of the most dangerous crimes to you. You think I talk about bank robbers or murderers? No, they're not the most dangerous. They're not. If you think about it, a murderer kills one person, maybe some of them two or three, but that most serious crime, somebody kills somebody. They're usually apprehended. There are news cases where there are several people, but people in suit crimes, people in offices, affluent people that are privileged, that get benefits that they don't deserve, that are in office buildings, that have power and influence, commit criminal acts that are far more damaging, using your power illegitimately, wrongfully, to do things harmful, criminal, lying under oath, taking bribes, giving people favors, misarranging the government to where it's detrimental to you and favorable to them. They arrange the government to appear legitimate so that they can maintain their illegitimate power over you, their grip of power on you, and do things criminal, but they try to make it appear legitimate to maintain power, and they orchestrate even laws and the way things are designed and labeled to influence public perception wrongly so that they can continue to commit their atrocities. Now, you think I'm talking about Nazi Germany. No, I'm not talking about Nazi Germany. You think I'm talking about Russia. And I am talking about Russia. But that also happens to an extent. Now, they don't do mass exterminations. That'd be too hard to explain. And Hitler couldn't explain that in the long run, could he? But they do terminations of people at a small scale level. They incarcerate political candidates. I'm one of them that incarcerated a political candidate out on the campaign trail asking people to vote for me, that Governor Bill Lee had me put in jail. They do that in America. Crimes of privilege. Crimes of privilege. Crimes of status. And you all know the rich get richer because they arrange the system in their favor. They step on the Constitution. And the poor get poorer, not because you're lazy or won't work, which is the perception that they want to put out. If somebody's not affluent, if somebody's not well off, it's because they didn't work hard enough. No. Sometimes that's the case, but a lot of times it's because the government, people in government power, have their boot on your neck. I got to be careful getting across the road. And they won't let you get up. They arrange things where you can't get anywhere, and you never will. You never will. You're doomed, unless of course you listen to me, and we can help, because not by violence, they're violent. By not listening to a damn word these liars say. And I'll tell you some specific facts why you shouldn't listen to them, and listen to me, and vote these thugs, these criminals, the most dangerous, more dangerous than one single murder, because thousands of people are killed because of their decisions that are not for public safety. They're for themselves. And if you go against them and report their rogueness, report their criminality, then they will brand you, blackball you, where you can't get anywhere. So, thank y'all for joining me. Well, like a few subscribers, we'll continue this dialogue, talk about Bill Goober. Talk about Bill Goober, the former commissioner of the Department of Safety, which is really Department of Danger. It's not safety. It's supposed to be. It's Department of Legitimize the Illegitimate. We'll talk about some of his crimes, what he did, and how he controls the judicial system with facts and evidence. I'm presenting my case to you, the jury, and show you how crimes of the affluent affect you much worse than street criminals that cops go after. We need a special investigation unit in the government to tackle affluent crime, white-collar crime, crimes of the privileged. And they can be privileged all they want to. Don't get in our government, and don't bend rules and break the law and endanger the public, where people get killed because of your ineptness, because of your illegitimacy, because of your fight for power. And if you all think I'm talking about a conspiracy theory, I'm going to tell you facts, things I've seen with my own eyes, written down courtroom testimony, where they've testified to things under oath. So it's not a conspiracy when somebody says this under oath, and then a judge goes right along with what they say illegitimately based on scientific proof. And that's what Bill Goober did. So hang with me, subscribe. Only a few more subscribers, and we will get over 1,000. We'll get over 1 million, hopefully. This movement is going forward. Charles Van Morgan Show. And we will get, hopefully, monetized pretty soon. Get paid for a little bit for a hard working effort. If you want to contribute, go ahead. Got to be careful. Stay out of the road. I got dark clothes on. Then help us continue the movement. It takes money to stay on the air by paying cell phone bills, and we can get some help doing news reporting. Then contribute. Hit the square icon. We're not bridled by the fake news. We're real news, telling you the way it is. We'll tell you facts and evidence. Got cars coming from 2 different directions, so got to be careful here. And we'll tell you the truth. Real news from a sociological perspective. So thank y'all for joining me. We'll read some of the comments. Talk about a criminal, Bill Goober, former commissioner over the Department of Public Danger in Tennessee. That's what it is. And Bill Gibbons is his name. I call him Bill Goober. But it's not funny what he did, because people are still getting killed today because of what Bill Goober did. Because of what Bill Goober did in government offices with the power of the government behind him, he is still causing people to get killed to this very day. So I'd hate to be him when I stand before God. Be a horrible place to be. And right now, he's open to public scrutiny, because I'm using the First Amendment to tell you about that dirtbag dog and how he misused public authority, and has evidently for now got by with it. So thank y'all for joining me. Subscribe, like, share, comment. If you subscribe, then hit the like button so I know how many subscribers I got. We ought to hit over 1,000 today. I'm hoping so. We started a little bit early. We're working hard. I've researched this story to tell you for several days. Got some articles in my pocket here to point out to you. Going down to the bridge, it is a place where a lot of traffic has to pass, because the government, as inefficient as it is here in Knoxville and all over the world, all over the United States, because they're too busy committing crimes, legitimizing their illegitimate self to do what needs to be done for you, the public, and the way we can take it back is vote. And I'm not talking stuff off the top of my head. I'm telling you from a sociological perspective. Mainstream sociology that's taught in textbooks here at the University of Tennessee. Look it up. It's taught in textbooks in Belgium and Germany, in Australia. It's mainstream sociology, a well-legitimized, authentic science, like math. Math is taught in Knoxville. 1 + 1 is 2 here in Knoxville. It's taught the same way in Russia. It's taught the same way in Belgium, in Canada. It's science. So it's not a conspiracy theory to say 1 + 1 is 2. Sociology and white-collar crimes, suit crime, government crime, crimes of the affluent, are much more damaging than street criminals and what the government goes after. We need to go after people in government power. Look it up. It's in sociology books. It's not conspiracy. It's not highfalutin stupid stuff. It's science. It's stuff you need to hear that you won't hear on the lamestream media, because they're part of it. They're part of it a lot of times. You won't hear that from any other channel. So listen to me. I'll tell you the truth about stuff, and not only the truth about stuff. You don't know. You can't solve a problem until you know how bad it is. And trust me, it's bad. It's very bad. They're taking our rights away from us, trampling on us every day, and it's going to get even worse with the new era of surveillance everywhere. If we don't have the right people in charge, we're not going to have any rights. We're going to have a right to do what they tell us to do. But in America, we need to fight for the Constitution. So let me see how many comments. We'll continue the dialogue. Thank y'all for showing up. Help the channel. And really, that's on me, because if I want people to watch, I need to have good content, right? So I'll put the pressure on me. And I think that I will fulfill that obligation to tell you all the truth, unbridled, unfiltered, taking a risk. out front speaking out against the government. They've already put me in jail for telling you the truth. They put me in jail for saying they lie about it. Vote for me when I ran for office. So I'm the front man, and I know how to protect myself. Don't worry about me. Trust in God is one. While I'm thinking about it, if you're not a Christian, accept the Lord Jesus Christ in your heart. Ask Him to forgive you and come into your heart. So my faith is in the Lord Jesus Christ, not on this earth. But I believe God sent me to do a little straightening out in this world. He taught me how to fight, and I'm doing it. I ain't got all the fancy equipment they got, but I know how to fight, trust me. One of the ways you know how to fight, you're relentless. You don't give up. Just because they put you in jail, you know what I did when they put me in jail? I prayed. I prayed, just like Dr. Martin Luther King. So you can protest the government being white American. And you know, it's not a racist thing. It's a disparity between the well-off, the rich, the affluent, the privileged, and the poor. The rich get richer and the poor get prison because they put you there illegitimately a lot of times. And we're going to put our little dent in their little gang of corruption, and that's what we're doing, telling you the truth. Let me see how many comments I got in here. And thank y'all for joining. Subscribe. Help us get over the hump and continue going. If we get monetized, then that will put us in a position to maybe get some advertisers and help this movement. And we'll be relentless. If we don't get it today, we'll get it tomorrow. Just a few short subscribes. And like, if you subscribe, like, that way I know you subscribe to the channel, because I can't see the number of subscribes when I'm live, but I can see the number of likes. So I can also see the number of viewers. It tends to hamper or encourage my enthusiasm. So continue watching. Keep me going. I'll keep going anyway. If there's one viewer on here, I'll talk to a blank screen if I have to till we get some viewers, because we're going to get our message out. We're going to get a message out because we have to, because it's detrimental to your health, safety, and well-being, and we're standing up against the illegitimate power for you, like I've done all my life. So let's see how many people we got on here, and see how many likes, shares, and viewers, and see how enthusiastic I can get. So maybe I can get pepped up if y'all show me a lot of viewers. We started early this morning, and we'll continue the dialogue of crimes of the affluent, how they're more detrimental to you than street criminals from a sociological, scientific perspective. We're going to talk about Bill Goober, the danger that he did to you all with facts and evidence. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff going on in the news today that is of importance. Talks about crime, and we're going to talk about some things that will alleviate some of your fears about crime to try to help you. And then we're going to show you some verses, some messages from God. We have got some messages from God. I'm telling you, messages straight from God above to us on the planet, specifically to Tennesseans and all over the world. And I'm going to proclaim that, and tell you, when I was running for Tennessee governor, and I did that to get public attention, to facilitate voters of Tennessee enraged, and people all over the world, you ought to be enraged at your government. And while I was traveling across the state, and we'll do that when we close, I took pictures of myself in front of messages from God. And I truly believe that. The messages from God were at God's churches. There's churches all across Tennessee, and they have little message boards out front of their church. Y'all have seen them. What wonderful messages from God's houses. And churches don't always do right, but God's in churches, and God does right. And don't blame God for what people do wrong. You should go to church. Find the right church, but you should go to church. You should worship God. And these churches have messages out in front of their church, and they're messages from God. Some of them are wonderful, encouraging messages that are just so outstanding, encouraging to me. And I'm gonna, when I close, I'm gonna show you some of those very encouraging messages. I've written them out in black and white. If you want me to put my pictures in color, then donate, and we'll get a we'll get a better printer. We printed so many articles, so many flyers, so many leaflets on our campaign printer, on our fighting machine. We don't have a machine gun, or we don't have bullets, and we don't have bombs and hand grenades. Our war machine, it's a political war against people in power, corruption, crimes of the affluent. Our political machine is a printer, paper and ink, information. Our political machine is a cell phone, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, is information, getting truthful information out to the whole world. You can decide whether it's true or not. It's not something I made up. It's well thought out scientific knowledge from some of the greats, Comet, Durkheim, some of the great Max Weber, and some of the best thinkers in sociology, how sociology affects people's lives, and some of their greatest contributions to knowledge. And we're gonna spread the word and try to get people in power out. So let's see how many people we got in here. And that's the last thing we'll do. We'll tell you about the messages from God's houses to you. Wonderful messages that hopefully will be encouraging to you. And they were to me, and they still are to this day. If you want me to get a color printer where I can print this stuff out in color, which will be nice, then we'll buy another printer. Printer costs about another printer and ink costs about $1,500. So we can print out large printers that prints out 19 by 13 is about $1,500 with ink. So contribute, and we'll give you an even better show and print this stuff out in large ink, color print. So go on the square icon or the Cash App and get us about $1,500, and we'll go buy ink tank printer that prints out stuff large print, 19 by 13. And we got a printer that prints that large, but it's only working black and white because we passed out so many flyers all over the state. And so now we're doing what we can with the means we got, printing out black and white. So when we get to the bridge, the pictures you see from God's houses will be black and white. If you want to be in color, contribute, and we'll show you that, and that'll be in closing when we get down to the bridge. So hopefully we got a lot of members. I've not looked at my phone or my comments because I'm spreading the message. I'm trying to not do that too often, so I won't get discouraged if I don't have too many viewers. We started early this morning, but we're going to get the message out regardless. We thank the viewers we got, and God bless you all, I pray. And that's the show we got this morning. I spelled it out. We'll look at the viewership right now and some of the comments and answer to them, and continue with the program, continue with the show, getting the truth out with the means and method behind it, and a very strong objective that is not just a show that will help you and can help all the world and all of mankind. Specifically in the state of Tennessee is where I'm at, what I'm dealing with. But we can help you worldwide, thanks to our worldwide fans. So we'll get into Bill Goobert over the Tennessee Department of Public Danger in the past and the crimes that he committed, spelled out, presenting my case and what he did. So hold on, let's see about the comments, and then we'll get into that. Thank y'all for showing up. Charles Van Morgan Show. So let's see. Yeah, we got a little more than we did yesterday. And let's see. I agree about church. Thank you. That's right. Ask God for forgiveness. Amen. We'll ask God. I do. I ask God to lead and guide me every day. Let's turn this around here so we can see, so y'all can see me reading the comments. What do you do, Justin? I'm not Justin, I'm Van. Charles Van Morgan, get the message. Stand up to the illegitimate power. It sounds easy like a poster, but then poster peels off the wall and the words start walking around the room, arguing with themselves about who is. Okay, well, maybe I need to think about that one. I don't know what that is. Social media, that's right, you're forgiven already, likely. No, you have to ask God to forgive you. Keep a pure heart, ask for forgiveness for others, ask yourself, I pray you are safe and blessings come to you in Jesus' almighty name. Amen. I appreciate that prayer. Lorene, thank you so much. I don't know. I think I just texted somebody. Yes, sir. Love this. Government. Thank you all. I got a bunch of supporters and fans in here. Facts. That's right. I'll show you some facts. Some facts they don't want you to know. Deloy Bailey said hi. 1776. That's right. 17. Yes, you're not wrong. Thank you all for agreeing with me. And we'll continue the show. I'm scared. Okay, we'll talk about some things in criminology that I know from an educated perspective. I hit the like you button. Thank you. Stay safe. I appreciate that. I believe you. Thank you, E-Begging Nader. Get him. His back isn't. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the ways we can protect ourselves. If I don't exist, while I know much more than ordinary people by studying audiologists, my best advice is to don't make children in the world. Well, I don't agree with that. Little children are a blessing. Some people saying hello. Hitler still got you. Speed up, Justin. So some of these comments I can't even understand. Why are you roaring the streets in the boomer go home? No, I'm gonna get the message out. And sociological, that's right. Not you're damaging us. No, you're damaging us. I'm not damaging you all. Freedom of speech doesn't damage anybody. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, then don't agree with it. You got to get yourself a platform to disagree with. It's called freedom of speech. It's called the marketplace of ideals. Unless Shirley, Texas. It's crazy that 7-year-olds have selfies. Yeah, so that's somebody that discriminates against your age. That's right. We got selfies and we're good looking. I met people all over the state that are very aged, and some of them are very nice looking. You ain't got nothing to fear about getting old. So let's go over just a few more and turn this thing around. Make sure I don't turn the mic off and turn the light on. Thank y'all for joining me. So we got several viewers in here, more than yesterday. So I'm pepped up, a little bit encouraged. Call your friends, tell them to join the show. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. So let's talk about Bill Goober, and we're on our way down to the bridge to the location that the city of Knoxville has got everybody in the city funneled to that one bridge because they closed down another bridge under the false pretense that it is broken and they can't fix it. They don't have money, which is a lie. That bridge has been open since 1898. It went through the Depression. They had money to fix that bridge, the Gay Street Bridge, in the Depression. The bridge isn't open. There's only several reasons. One of them is they're telling the truth. They don't have the money to fix it. And they're just admitting to malfeasance. Because why don't they have the money to fix it? They've got tax money. They had the money to fix that bridge. During the Depression, it needed maintenance during the Depression. During the 1930s, it needed repairs, and they kept it open. So why now in 2025 they don't have the money? They're just admitting malfeasance if what they're saying is true. They've mismanaged the government and haven't left funds available to fix the Gay Street Bridge. So congratulations. If what you're saying is true, you're admitting that you are not capable of providing basic government services. And they're not capable of providing basic government services, including the very main one, protection. In fact, they create danger. Let me make sure I got the volume on. Can you all hear me now? So we're going down that bridge because it is a location where I can get the message out. Power to you, the people, with my sign. Tennessee government crimes cause hundreds to get killed. And live now. People know we're live on there. So, because people have to cross that bridge, thanks to the government, we'll use the government's malfeasance to help our cause, to help you, to get the message out. Because they funnel people across mainly one bridge in the whole city of Knoxville, a metropolitan area, thousands of people in South Knoxville, damaging the economy. we'll use that to say, look, we're right here where you have to pass, you have to see us, because the government's closed down bridges. So maybe the government will open up the bridge if they don't want to see everybody to see me. They can open up the Gay Street Bridge and less people see me. Hint, hint, hint. Yeah, that's how stupid these people are, how damaging to you. It's greed. It's greed. Or the reason why they don't have the bridge open is they don't want it open, which is much more likely. They don't want the bridge open because they want everybody out on foot because of the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal bullshit. Excuse my language, but we're not going to save the world and save the environment. We can do our part. Now, I'm all for protecting the environment. I've got kids and grandkids and great-grandkids that need a planet to be left in good shape for them. But we're not going to save that by starving our grandkids, great-grandkids out, our kids and great-grandkids, and ourselves out. It's a worldwide problem. It takes a worldwide effort. Don't make us sacrifice for what they're not doing in China. And if we don't take care of ourselves and our economy, you know, this country will be taken over. So we're going down that bridge. They got everything funneled there. So we'll use their malfeasance or their ineptness or their stupidity against them. So Bill Goober, Department of Public Safety. Now he was over the Department of Safety. They got Jeff Long now. And we'll look into him. Now I have talked to him on the phone about another matter, personally myself. And I don't know. I know he's under a crooked governor. I know he's a politician. But Bill Goober was the commissioner over the Department of Safety. Many of y'all know, and we'll go over it again, I was a Tennessee state trooper. And I kept the fatality rate down by arresting and getting drunk people, protecting them out of the cars and taking them to jail, and also protecting society. Now, I had some supervisors come from Nashville that didn't like me keeping the fatality rate down, and I had some lawyers here in Knoxville, and the prosecutor got mad at me, got mad because I put some of the people in power, the affluent people, their kids and them in jail for drunk driving. And you can't do that because they will get rid of you. If you do what's right for the public, if you're dedicated to public safety, which I was, the fatality rate was down. Numbers can't lie. Numbers don't lie. The fatality rate was down in 2011. So these supervisors from Nashville came down and from internal affairs, which is internal, how to get rid of people that we want to get rid of, how to lie, which is they're part of the government, came down from Nashville and they started work on trying to get rid of my job. And I fought them back just like I am now. I was on patrol and I was dispatched to and this is after they already mad at me, bringing up false complaints against me. So they were just looking for a reason to legitimize something, a falsehood against me, just looking for a reason, which is what they do to a lot of troopers. And I was working a wreck, and it was under Bill Goober, and Colonel Tracy Trotch to the bathroom. I worked the wreck, and on the way back from the wreck out on Emory Road, where I had gotten emails from my supervisor, Sergeant Ronald McDonald, telling me that they had complaints in the area. People flied on Emory Road, speeding at a high rate of speed. And I'd gotten emails from him to enforce the speed limit on that road. We were told where to go, so I clocked a car. It's 3:30 in the morning on Thanksgiving morning, And I just got done working a wreck. I was on my way to the hospital to get blood from the person who was drunk, and I was going to charge him if his alcohol level came back higher than legally allowed. He hurt himself in a wreck. And I clocked the car on Emory Road where I was told to enforce the speed limit, but that don't matter. They'll turn things around on you no matter who you are if you challenge the authority, if you challenge the people that are in status, that have privilege. If you challenge them and their corruption, then they're going to find a reason to legitimize something that's not true. Sociology 101. People in power, it's under conflict. People in power try to maintain power and keep people oppressed under them to maintain power and try to be legitimate, try to act legitimate so that they can maintain power because they can't fight everybody. And that's what I'm going to try to get them to do. Well, they'll have to fight everybody. They're not legitimate. Don't believe their dirty lies. Believe me. So I clocked the car, I turned on all my emergency equipment safely because you're supposed to under the law. Now let's everybody know there's a problem. The car was doing 79 in a 40. Turned my emergency equipment on before I even made a turn. Now that's important because there's another trooper that less than a year later was on patrol. Now they hung me out to dry, said I did something wrong. One person killed herself in a high-speed pursuit after dark that I would have saved if he'd have if he had followed the orders and stopped. And he probably would have got out of it in court, and I wouldn't have cared. I was out to protect his life and the life of Tennesseans. They're out to maintain their illegitimate power. They're white-collar criminals. Bill Gober is a criminal of privilege and prestige, and he used his prestigious position in the performance, used his power to commit a crime against you. Not just me, committed all against all humanity. Bill Gober. And Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. While he was under, it's the Commissioner of the Department of Public Danger. So there's another trooper a few months later. We got in a pursuit of a car. The person that he was in pursuit of got killed. And also, an innocent second person that didn't have nothing to do with the pursuit until the person running from John Pettigo crashed into him and they got killed. So 2 people killed, a very high magnitude incident by a trooper in pursuit. Because when he got in pursuit of the car, he didn't turn on his emergency equipment. He just turned around and started chasing him. Like a dog chasing somebody. He was trained. The general order, the rules, the law says when you're in pursuit of a violator or a suspected violator of the law, you turn on all your emergency equipment. You turn on your lights, you turn on your sirens. Why is that? That's to warn the public that you're going to drive over the speed limit, that you're going to violate the normal rules, because you can when you have your equipment on. You can't. A police officer's not supposed to go over the speed limit or go through red lights or violate any traffic laws unless he has an emergency or he's pursuing a violator, a suspected violator. But he can do that only if he has on emergency equipment. He has on blue lights and his flashing front lights and his siren. Now, some cars don't have the flashing front lights, but the front lights are supposed to come on, headlights, even in the daytime. So a police officer cannot violate the rules of the road unless they have on audio and visual warning, it's emergency management issue to other people. Now, you're probably not going to hit somebody if the intersection's clear going through it, but that's emergency management. Preparing ahead. What if there is somebody? You warn them to stop or slow down. And you have the right of way at an intersection if you have your emergency equipment on. So if you got a red light and the other car has the green light, but you have on all your emergency equipment, blue light, siren on, and your headlights on, then you have the right of way to go through a red light and they have to stop at a green light unless there's a collision, then you don't have the right of way anymore. So the way the law is written, you have the right of way as long as they give it to you. But if they don't give it to you, they're subject to a ticket, but you can't hit them. So John Pettigo didn't turn on his emergency equipment, went in pursuit of a car. 2 people killed, a very high magnitude incident. Very high magnitude incident. Colonel Tracy Trott wrote in his termination papers against me that he came to the scene where the person had a wreck that I was in pursuit of because of the high magnitude of the incident. What a dirty lie. A drunk driver running from a trooper in a pursuit that he passes up is not a high magnitude incident. Happens all the time, every day in the United States of America. He came down from Nashville under the authority of Bill Goober to commit a crime against you. A privilege crime, manipulating the court system, lying under oath. So he lied, said because of the magnitude of the incident, signed his name for that. When a few months later, a trooper violated the law, didn't follow the rules of the law, didn't follow the rules of the public safety, Department of Public Safety general orders, went in pursuit without any warning to anybody, and because of his criminal acts, 2 people were killed. An innocent person and the person that he was pursuing without warning the lady that he was in pursuit. But the colonel didn't go down to the scene of that incident. That's a high magnitude incident. Why not? Because he didn't want to do his hit job on him. The hit job was on me. Well, guess what, Colonel Tracy Trott? Guess what? I'm still out here. And we're not just fighting you, we're fighting public corruption. His ass ought to be in jail. And it may be someday the script gets flipped. Looks what's going on in Washington right now. The director over the FBI is getting charged with a crime. Imagine that. As much devastation as damage as Bill Goober has caused. He was a prosecutor in Nashville before he got on with the Department of Public Danger. Imagine years later if we flip the script and show these people, we're not going to put up with these crimes. Years later, you can be incarcerated. You can be put in jail. But we need to get votes, get power to the people, continued. It's already been going for 6 years. They've tried to shut us down. Can't do it, won't do it. If God is for us, who can be against us? So he came down to the incident under the authority of Bill Goober to put a hit job out on me, to lie, using public power, using public influence, using his prestigious position, because people believe him. He's the colonel, he's the commissioner of the Department of Safety. He must be telling the truth. Using his position to facilitate a lie, a bold-faced, clear lie, not even any question about the lie, that caused you damage, that has raised the fatality rate. It's called suit crime, white-collar crime, state crime, much more damaging than street crime, but we don't enforce that crime, do we? Because they don't want us to. They won't allow us to, because they'll put us in jail. They will brand us as evil criminals when I'm not a criminal. I've never been convicted of any crime. I got a jury standing between me and their unjust, crooked court systems. A judge would pronounce me guilty every day in any courtroom in the state of Tennessee in a second in order to get promoted. But in America, they got to go through this thing called due process, which gives me a jury to talk to the public, to tell them, hey, I didn't do that. I didn't see that wreck. I thought it was a parked car, and convince them with an expert witness. And the jury wouldn't have convicted me. They didn't. But the state government did, and what it did is it caused the fatality rate on Tennessee roadways to skyrocket. To this day, more of your family friends are killed because of Bill Goober and Tracy Trott. They still live in an environment that they created that condones and produces drunk driving because it's not enforced. It's not enforced. And they created that environment by taking the leading trooper off the road. And also sending out a message that we don't want you to enforce the law. We don't care about that. We care about maintaining our legitimacy. And if somebody complains, then we will target them, blackball them, brand them. That's sociology 101. So here's what Bill Goober did. We'll get to the bridge early in the morning. We got to get 9 subscribers to get over the 1,000 mark. Thank you all very much for watching. And we'll show you some evidence where we can. And the papers we got here. So Bill Goober sent me thank you letters about my job performance. Until I started complaining when his supervisors from Nashville came down here and started trying to use their illegitimate power wrongfully and try to get rid of me and try to take me off the road where I couldn't effect drunk driving arrest. Because I was showing their good old boys up, because some of the lawyers in Knoxville were mad at me for arresting them for being drunk. You can't arrest the rich affluent. They'll take your job away where you can't arrest them anymore. You can arrest all the poor people you want, but you can't arrest the rich affluent. You can't arrest their children. That's even stupid, because if one of my children were out drinking and driving, I would want an officer to arrest them, because that protects their lives. But that's how stupid for power they are. They think that they're not bound by the rules of gravity and inertia, and stuff will get their kids killed. They should thank me for what I did themselves. Hell, they can get out of crimes in the court, and they always do, using their power and influence. That's how stupid these people are. They've even got in wrecks hit by drunk drivers and damn stupid selves. You should have had me out on the road, Major Stacy Heatherly. You might have not got hit by a drunk driver, you idiot. How stupid you are. No education runs a highway patrol. You better watch out, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Colonel Matt Parrish. She's going to take your job. And I'd go along with the program. She'll dirty you too. She's not a very good person. And I've just heard, I don't know, that she smells bad. So never experienced that myself from an inside man. So we're talking about Bill Goober. So Bill Goober, when they decide they want to target you, they target you. The public safety don't matter. It's all about their legitimacy. And I was complaining about things they were doing, not allowing me to do my job. And they were also putting me in positions of danger, asking me to do things I couldn't do. It was too dangerous, so I didn't want to do, because it was suicide jobs. Called me on the phone when I was on the middle of a traffic stop, trying to get a dangerous drunk driver off the road, and I'd say, "Can I call you right back?" And Lord Russell would say no, so I'd have to put myself in danger, because that low-life psycho idiot. I complained about a lot of stuff like that. And they back up the brass. If you're promoted, if you're in a high position, you did not get in that high position because you protected the public. You got in that high position because you protected the illegitimacy of their power. So the higher up in the organization you go, the more lying that they are. You might find a soul trooper on the street that's very honest, does his job. But you get above that, you might find a few sergeants, you get above that and you got more crooked. Because they didn't get promoted for doing the right thing, they get promoted for lying. That's who Bill Goober promoted people for. So he wanted to get me gone because it wasn't politically correct for me to be throwing his attorney friends in jail. He's an attorney from Memphis, from Shelby County. He was formerly the district attorney in Shelby County, and he ran for governor, and he seen he wasn't going to win, but he had a lot of support votes because of his privilege and power. He put a lot of, I wonder how many people he put in jail in Shelby County and Memphis illegitimately. I know he lied about me. All his cases in Shelby County ought to be reviewed. Even people that are still in jail, and people ought to be exonerated of crimes that Bill Gibbons, Bill Goober put on them as prosecutor, as illegitimate prosecutor of Memphis, Shelby County. You wonder why there's crime in Memphis, Shelby County. They gotta have the National Guard come and protect people in Memphis and Shelby County, because the law enforcement there, not all of them, they're so inept. The state government's so inept they can't protect people. They get rid of people that protect people and keep people that substantiate their illegitimacy, try to keep them legitimate. So he was a former prosecutor. People ought to be exonerated of crimes that he prosecuted them for, because he's a liar. Because he probably convinced the jury illegitimately, used fake evidence, used judge to get rulers in his favor. Every case that Bill Goober prosecuted in Shelby County ought to be reviewed. And for the sake of America, the Constitution, most of them, a lot of them, they ought to be exonerated and cleared of the fake charges that he charged you with, and the record's cleared. Yes, I'm supporting that. I know what he did to me. I don't say that my record ought to be cleared. Civil record, they ain't got anything criminal. It ought to be reinstated as a trooper. It's not just about me, but I think the public ought to be reinstated in their prior position before Bill Goober, the prosecutor of Shelby County, started his lies against you. So people in Memphis, get together, vote these people out, and get a special prosecutor's office, a review office of the criminal justice system in Memphis, Tennessee, and go over all the cases that Bill Goober, lying Bill Goober, I know he's a dirty liar. He lied on me, all the cases that he went over, that he prosecuted, under his, even under people that worked under him, because he influenced them wrongfully. Look into the cases and see if these people are really guilty, and the ones that ain't, exonerate them. Put out a public press statement exonerating these people of their crimes that they didn't commit, that Bill Goober said they did, because I know he's a liar. Because here's the deal. If you know something is fact, and you ask somebody, and they know the truth about it too, but they don't know you know the truth, and they tell you a lie, and you know that it's a lie. Then you ask them something else that you don't know about. You don't know the truth about the other thing. You already know they lied about something because they told you a falsehood and they know the truth, but they don't know you know the truth. But then you ask them something else you don't know about to tell you the truth, and they tell you something. Are you going to believe them in the other thing? No, they've already proven they're dishonest. So I'll prove to you how Bill Lee and how Bill Goober, Bill Lee same way, how he's dishonest. So what makes you think he prosecuted people legitimately in Shelby County? I'll guarantee you he didn't. And the cases ought to be reviewed, because people have rights in this country. The right not to be prosecuted by a lying elite criminal. There's somebody, there's a fan. By a lying elite criminal that commits his crime because of privilege and prestige. That's a dirtbag crook that you won't hear anywhere else except Charles Van Morgan show. From a truthful, life-lived, sociological perspective. Like, share, comment, contribute. Keep this channel going. We're going to continue with it. Bill Goober, former prosecutor of Shelby County, Memphis, ran for governor and trying to use his position. If you weren't going to vote for him, going to vote for the opposition, would he have you prosecuted for felony? Have your voting rights taken away so you couldn't vote for somebody else? They do that sometimes. I don't know any specific case of him doing that, but I know they do that. The opposition, they will charge you with felonies. And in America, in Tennessee, you can't vote if you have a felony. So some of these politicians that are prosecutors in Tennessee, they do it. They do. I'm telling you they do. Don't lie to yourself. So they want to be a prosecutor. So they're out for votes, and they know you're going to vote against them, and they're the prosecutor, and they want to keep their power illegitimately, and they know you're going to vote against them. So, and that's what they tried to do to me. So what they do is, in order to maintain their power, they make it where you can't vote against them. They take the vote away because they prosecute you for a felony crime. And if they get a jury convinced that you commit a felony, and even if they just arrest you, they know they can't get through the case through court. They have a mugshot of you branded as a criminal to try to win illegitimately using their prosecutor status and power. They stand behind complete immunity. They can charge whoever they want to, and they can't be prosecuted for that unless it's outside the scope of their job, and they know how to make it look like it's in the lines. I wonder how many people, if he did, I don't know, I'm just asking the question, how many people Bill Goober, and I'm going to tell you about a lie I do know he did. He's a crook, he's a liar. How many people did Bill Goober have incarcerated and have felonies put on them so that they couldn't vote against him? And how many people did he get incarcerated and did he win the election illegitimately? And if you think I'm talking hocus pocus, if you think I'm talking conspiracies, if you think I'm talking theories, go get a sociological criminology textbook. It's not stuff I'm making up. I didn't learn this stuff. I learned this stuff. I didn't invent this stuff. I didn't make these theories and these conspiracies. I didn't write them. I read them in mainstream sociological textbooks from every major university worldwide. So I'm telling you the truth. It's not some conspiracy theory. It's well accepted, well respected, mainstream, not outside the norm, sociological criminology knowledge that's well respected. Look behind the scenes of what these crooks are trying to tell you. It's the truth. Don't listen to these dirtbag liars. Look at the facts. So he threw all his votes when he knew he was going to lose to another dirty line criminal of privilege and elite criminal that used his position to end his taxes and raise yours, Bill Lee, or not Bill Lee, Governor Bill Haslam. Now he got Bill Lee elected. Governor Bill Haslam, he ended his taxes and raised yours. What a wonderful thing to use public power for your own personal benefit. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. Pick up any textbook, criminology, sociology, taught at University of Tennessee. Right here's the University of Tennessee. Let's see here. So here we go, get some more people in here. Charles Van Moore, good morning. Look at any textbook. University of Tennessee over here. And there's a crooked courthouse over here. Look at any textbook. We'll show you the beautiful view over here of the river in the morning. Goes down Gay Street Bridge. So they have to come across the Henley Street Bridge where they're forced to see my sign. Live now. So yeah, they got it rigged up where they help me out. I appreciate y'all. So yeah, look at any textbook, criminology textbook, sociological textbook from Belgium, from Spain, from Ukraine, Russia. Some of their textbooks are probably censored. Any mainstream sociological textbook in sociology, criminology, you'll find the stuff I'm telling you about. Crimes of the affluent, crimes of the rich, crimes of the powerful that use power illegitimately to wrongly affect you, to wrongly incarcerate you, to mistreat you, to cause you death, pain, and sorrow. More dangerous than any street criminal. So here we are at the bridge. Let's see if we can get under some light. And it's early in the morning, so we'll use this light right here. So hopefully y'all can see me. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We'll continue our dialogue about Bill Goober. Too early for a lot of traffic. So we got on here early. Got to get 11 more subscribers. And while you're thinking about it, subscribe and then hit the like button so I know you're subscribing. We're talking about Bill Goober. Crimes of the affluent. People in power that have got in power, sometimes illegitimately, and use their power to protect themselves, make themselves look legitimate, and to blackball brand opposition. That the opposition is representing you. And here's what Bill Goober did, with facts and evidence. Thank y'all for hanging on. So, Bill Goober said that I released the video of the wreck, that it wasn't, that they didn't release the video of the wreck. He said that the video of the wreck wasn't released without authorization. He said that me driving past the wreck off the road that I didn't see, either I was negligent in not seeing it, or that I did see it, but he didn't know which one it was, which is a lie. I was neither negligent. It's not negligent that you can't see something that's unseeable, using a video camera later to back that up. And here's a picture of Bill Goober. It's a little fuzzy picture of the sorry old bat that still to this day causes people to get killed. Here we go. We'll look at it close up personally. Bill Goober. So he said that I either seen the wreck or I was negligent. Neither one of that is true. And he said that he didn't know whether, he didn't believe that the video was released without authorization, trying to uphold the legitimacy of the Tennessee Department of Safety, trying to say they didn't release a video without authorization, that it wasn't released, that they had authorized it. That's what he testified to under oath. Now was the commissioner of the Department of Safety, and he said he didn't know whether or not they released the video he didn't think they released the video without authorization, that it was authorized, what he's testifying to under oath. Now he's over the colonel of the Department of Safety, who said that the video was released without authorization, and they did a investigation, even had an investigation number of the video of the pursuit I was in being released to the media to try to inflame people against me. So his own colonel over the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and he knows this, he's lying under oath. His own colonel over the Tennessee Highway Patrol said that they were angry about the video being released without authorization. Colonel Tracy Trott stood by and said that we were very angry about it being released. He said that under oath. And they started internal affairs investigation. There's a number of who released the video of the pursuit I was in to the news media. The next day, it was released to the news media by Major Stacy Heatherly now. The commissioner of the Department of Safety, even though there's a number, even though he's over the colonel, even though it was released without authorization, tried to back up the legitimacy of the department by saying that it wasn't, he didn't know it wasn't released without authorization. He was trying to say that it was released with authorization. Trying to say, we didn't do anything wrong, we released it. But, come on now. The colonel started an investigation. They were angry that it was released without authorization. So he lied about that, trying to say, we're legitimate. There wasn't nothing happened with Department of Safety. We knew exactly what we're doing. It was released, we think, with authorization. There was a question about it was released, it was authorized. When it wasn't authorized, there was internal affairs investigation of who even released it, and they don't even know who released it. So Bill Goober lied under oath. He knew. He's trying to show legitimacy of the Department of Safety. There's no mistakes made. It wasn't released without authorization, or we don't think that it was. There was an argument about that. If there was, why is there an internal affairs investigation? Why were they very upset and trying to find out who released it? Because it was not released without investigation. He was trying to back up and say, we'll just say that it was released with permission of us. Because he didn't want people to know that it got out, somebody trying to inflame the public against me, people in his own department. And so, yeah, he lied about that. Colonel Tracy Trott said they were very angry about that. And the reason why it was released to the news media without authorization is because it was released by Major Stacy Heatherly, in an attempt to inflame the public because it involved a fatality. Somebody killed themselves in a drunk driving wreck. That makes public attention. And she wanted to release it to the news media because I drove past the wreck because it's off the road in the dark. And she assumed that people would see what she illegitimately saw, that I saw the wreck and chose to ignore it, which is not true. When you go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and when you see what happens every day in the news and on football games, that referees miss calls and then they slow it down and see stuff they couldn't see in real time. I couldn't see that car off the road wrecked in real time. It was off the road. It was dark. It wasn't on fire. It wasn't overturned. It didn't appear like a wreck. There was no lights on. It was under a tree, made it even darker. The damage was on the front end. I was going at a high rate of speed, lost sight of it, and the road split. I was looking way down the road where I'd last seen it. In real time, you couldn't have saw it. Sure, the video camera picks up stuff you can review later and say, there it is, just like in a football game where referees miss calls because perception reaction. You can't pick things up in real life. You can slow a video camera down and see things that you couldn't see in real life. That's obvious. But she was wanting to inflame the public against me because there was a death and Trooper Morgan seen it. Right there it is on the camera. Right there he is. That doesn't mean the referee did something wrong. It means in real life you can't see that. But when the news showed the video the next day that she released, she knew she's a dirty liar. She released it to the news media hoping to inflame people against me and my children. And troopers, listen to me. That's what she'll do to you. If you don't kneel down to her and give her whatever she wants illegitimately for her own stupidity, she'll hang you out and send the news media, send creeps and thugs to your house to try to damage you. Major Stacy Heatherly. And her husband even investigates wrecks. So is he going to tell the truth? I think not, my personal opinion. They'll tell you whatever makes them look good, just like Goober did. So when the news media showed it, people knew the truth. There was no public outcry. The trooper didn't see it. Somebody drunk killed herself. Happens all the time. I feel bad for that trooper for having to deal with that. The guy should have stopped. The trooper didn't wreck or hit anybody. And then she gets upset that the news media doesn't see what she wants them to see. They don't present the narrative that she wants. So she tells the news media. She wasn't even supposed to turn it over to the news media. It's still under investigation. She tells the news media, hey, he's seen it. Start telling them he's seen it. He's seen the wreck. And then that's sensationalism. A trooper seen a wreck, drove past it. That creates a lot of public outcry. But it's false. That's what she did to me. She's a major now. She'll do that to you. That's how they run the highway patrol. If you don't go our way, even if you're out defending the public, then we'll hang you out to dry. We'll step over bodies to do it. Inflame the death of a young person. That it's sad how he died. It's also a social problem. Using that to facilitate their corruption. And Bill Goober said, it wasn't released illegitimately without authorization. Yeah, it was. The colonel said it was. He also said, we're talking about white-collar crime. Crimes of the affluent, suit crime, state crime, whatever you want to call it. It's crimes of people in power that are affluent, that are privileged, crimes of the privileged, that use their privilege to facilitate crimes and they usually get by with it. It's covered up because of their privilege and their influence. Bill Goober gave all his votes to Governor Bill Haslam. That's how Haslam got elected. And then Bill Haslam promoted Bill Goober to Department of Public Danger. That's how the friends, you know, I get by with a little help from my friends. They get by with a little help from their other affluent friends to commit crimes against you. That's what these thugs do. That's what they'll continue doing unless we vote them out of office. Get together Power to You the People movement. Spread it all across Knoxville, all across Tennessee, all across the United States, all across the world, and fight these thugs in government power. So we'll continue with the dialogue. Bill Goober. Let's show you this little thing right here. So we got about 60 on here. Keep like, share, comment, and we'll read the comment at the bottom here. It says here, Charles doesn't have all the answers. No, I don't. I got a lot of them. Jesus Christ is answer. That's right. Night 6 is not a good time. Okay. Cricket said hi. Hello. So they're rigged. This stuff's rigged. Let's look at this right here. And I'm gonna report to you today. I'm gonna write a book. So if you want to read the book, I'm gonna write a book and put it up for sale. I'm not sure how much it's going to be yet, but I'm going to write a book about all this stuff. And the Charles Van Morgan story, or I'm not sure the name of it yet, but I'm going to write a book, put all this in print for you to look at the evidence. You can decide for yourself. So let's go over this right here. Rigged book. Bill Gibbons deposition. Okay. Now this is what he's testifying to in under oath. Did you know why he slowed down? That would be speculation. Some say because he saw the crash, decided to keep going. But I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't know whether Trooper Morgan intentionally kept driving by, or whether he was simply negligent, not seeing the crash. I don't know. But either way, Mr. Parker, I think it's the basis for termination. Look at this. This is an evidentiary deposition concerning the Van Morgan civil hearing in lieu of, because of some issues that arose with scheduling the hearing. The judge has requested that we take as many witnesses as possible so that keep the trial for the time hearing, which is scheduled on the 26th to minimum. So one of those happened to be yours, so we won't have to call you next week to trial. We're going to take your evidence testimony today. I understand. So Bill Gibbons doesn't even have to come to court. He doesn't even have to testify in front of your face. What a dirty liar. So what he said was, incredible statements made by commissioner, speculation against their own expert made out of court. The commissioner of the Department of Safety made some incredible statements against Mr. Morgan affecting the future ability to make a living beyond the job of state trooper. The statements and conclusions were made in an office while Mr. Morgan was out on the road in the pursuit, performing according to the department policy while his life was in danger. Mr. Gibbons should be required to attend court. Bruce Siddle, their own expert in perception and reaction, has interpreted events in the context they were and came to the correct conclusion. So Bill Gibbons is saying that I was either negligent or that I should have saw, framing it as I should have saw, something I had no control over. Framing it. Negligence is something that you have control over. You're not, how can you be negligent on somebody else's mistake? You can't. That's their mistake. That's on them. So it's a high standard, Mr. Bill Goober, and this is what he did probably in his criminal courtrooms that convicted a lot of Shelby Countyans in jail that are probably still in jail now. It's a high damn burden to be responsible for somebody else's negligence. You're not responsible for other people's negligence. You're responsible for your negligence. If you were negligent for your actions, what you do. So what he's saying is I was negligent not seeing the wreck. So let's think about that. Let's explicate that a little bit. So somebody drunk in a wreck, somebody drunk driving, speeding over the speed limit, probably would have wrecked without me even being there. It's my job to stop them. I'm not out stopping drunk drivers now. But he pays me to stop him, asks me to stop him specifically on that road. Now, negligence is failing to do something or doing something that a reasonable, prudent person would do under the circumstances. Look at the traffic that's building up right now. A reasonable, prudent person would do under the circumstances. Let's make sure the volume's on. That's what negligence is. Negligence is not what somebody else did. You're not negligent if somebody else does something wrong. You're not responsible for the actions of somebody else. So what he's basically saying is that I should have seen that wreck. So I will have to hope that some forces intervene that make him wreck more visible. He wasn't visible. The wreck wasn't visible. It was under a tree in the dark. So my negligence is something that I can't control how he wrecked. If he should have, I should have hoped he wrecked in the road, turned upside down on fire, blocking the whole road. So I would said, there's the wreck. But he wrecked off the road in the dark. I didn't do that. So I had to control how he turned the wheel. If he had turned the wheel a little bit different way, he would have wrecked in the road and I would have seen him. So he's saying I'm responsible for how somebody else wrecked their car. I wasn't negligent. I turned on blue lights and tried to stop him. He should have stopped. I even slowed down for a red light, and he got a bigger lead on me, which is why he had such a lead on me, why I couldn't even get his license plate, because I had to slow down for a red light. I didn't endanger anybody, didn't do a damn thing negligent. What they did was criminal activity. Bill Gibbons, in the Department of Safety, committed crimes against humanity that's still going to this day. Still more people get killed on the roads for drunk driving. Bill Gibbons, you're still responsible. So he's saying I'm responsible for the negligence of somebody else. That's a pretty high standard, isn't it? Wow. I'm not responsible for how that guy turned the wheel. I'm not responsible for that guy running. I'm not responsible for anything he did. Didn't do a damn thing wrong. No, they frame it that I was negligent because I couldn't see how he wrecked. I mean, I should have hoped that he wrecked his car better in a more visible manner that I had no control over. Wow, you see how they're framing that? I'm not responsible for how he wrecked his damn car. That's on him. I'm responsible for my driving, didn't hit anybody, didn't hurt anybody, did my very best to stop him. So if I had been lucky, I wouldn't have been negligent. Negligence don't have anything to do with luck. Negligence is you doing something that you should have done. I didn't do anything wrong. So you see how the lawyer is framing things, putting me in somebody's drunken party. Negligence was at the party that served him alcohol and let him get in a car at 20 years old and drive down the road. It's not negligent as a police officer to see him speeding, turn on all emergency equipment and try to apprehend him for his own safety, the safety of the public, and to slow down for a red light so you don't run over innocent people, for him to get a better lead on you, to have so much of a lead that he wrecks out of your sight. That's not my negligence. That's his negligence. And that's Governor Bill Haslam's and Governor Bill Goober's crimes. That's not negligence. That is a guilty action that has caused harm to society. Framing it as me should have seen a wreck off the road in the dark, that's my negligence. Now you see how that's framed? That's how they frame things. If they want something for you to believe something, then they lie and reframe it. I'm not responsible, Bill Gibbons. You are responsible for death and destruction on the highways, and I'm trying to hold you accountable, and I'll damn sure try, you dirty, crooked thief, you dirty liar. I wasn't negligent, and I didn't see it as a wreck. No one would have, and I shouldn't have seen it. He should have stopped, and you shouldn't have lying about the video being released, lying about me being negligent. And then, listen to this. Now, listen to this. That's what he said. Either you're negligent or you're... So his judge, his handpicked judge, Judge Lefevre, he doesn't even make any new rulings. We have their own expert come down and testify to this stuff. And I'm going over this stuff because I'm talking about white-collar crime, talking about suit crime, talking about crimes of the privilege that cause much more damage, and that's what we're fighting. That's what we're fighting. People in government power that use their power and privilege to wrongly affect you. That's people still get killed today. That's why we need to vote. They do much more damage than a street criminal. There's somebody there that probably that day in the United States that stole somebody's purse and ripped off $20, that didn't do as much crime, law enforcement's all over them, that didn't do as much crime as Bill Goober did, as Bill Haslam did. Street crime, suit crime, crimes of the privilege, influencing public opinion through lies, influencing the government, presenting false cases through courtrooms that take the leading trooper off the road and cause public danger to this day far more in excess than any one street criminal ever did. We need suit police that go after suit and crimes of the privilege police to straighten out society more than these police that police street crime, that police me and you. What about police that police them? Let's flip the script. Let's get the real criminals. The real criminals are criminals of privilege and prestige, criminals in power that use their power to lie and reframe things, and people get killed because of their reframing. That's the truth. So let's see how many people we got on here. We'll continue talking about Bill Goober. Like, share, comment. So let's look at this right here. Boo volunteers. What happened to your teeth? Well, maybe send me some money and I'll get my teeth fixed. Okay, do you know why he slowed down? That would be speculation. Some would say because he saw the crash, decided to keep going, but I'm not saying that. I don't know. Whether he's simply negligent not seeing the crash, I don't know. But either way, administrative ruling conclusion of law 3. Now, the administrative law judge wrote the same thing as Bill Goober did. So the administrative law judge is writing what the politician told him to write. Just because you're elected to public office does not give you the right to tell a judge what to say. We have a constitution. We have rules of law. There's facts and evidence. But the judges do what these politicians tell them to say. They even write their rulings, what the politicians tells them to do. This is what the politician said. This is what I write in my ruling. Don't listen to anything in the hearing. Don't listen to anything in the case. They do what they're told to do. So they'll get promoted. So they'll keep their job. To keep an illegitimate legitimate. So this is the thing here. It says here, Siddle, line, page 30, line 4. Bruce, quoting Tracy Trott, you stated in your interview that you were specifically looking for taillights on the vehicle you were chasing. That would be appropriate. The video clearly shows that when you came over the rise in the roadway, there's a vehicle sitting off the right of the road with an illuminated rear tail light. That's not true. Nowhere in the video I look is there an illuminated tail light. So Bruce Siddle says that there's no tail light that they say there is. Here's what the administrative judge says. The administrative law judge recites the same conclusions as Bill Gibbons. He makes no new findings, just restates that Mr. Gibbons says in spite of an expert opinion they use, and he states the opposition with exact scientific explanations. Both men were behind a desk when making decisions while Mr. Morgan was out on the road in harm's way protecting society when his decision was made. Both men had plenty of time to arrange how facts could be interpreted. Wow, they arrange things. How can we get this through a court and make it look right? What a dirty bunch of thugs. What a dirty bunch of thugs. That's how they do. Okay, nowhere now, there's a flash of red, but there's no illuminated tail light. You said that you saw the vehicle out of the corner of your eye, and let's get this and determine, let me get this clear here. Corner of your eye, and dismiss as a parked vehicle. Not involving an accident, but it was dark, way off the road, not overturned. There are reasonable assumptions. He's looking for a target vehicle that's fleeing from him a quarter mile, so when he came over the rise, he wouldn't necessarily be looking meet to his right or left for a vehicle unless something captured attention. So in this case, what we're doing is trying to determine, was Trooper Morgan missing what we now know is a crashed vehicle, but a vehicle that basically didn't pop out of the landscape for less than 2 seconds during the pursuit. His actions were reasonable. So here, what the colonel's trying to say is that this is what should be going on inside your mind. It's totally unreasonable for any perspective to believe that. So in this case, in this particular document, we We have 2.5 paragraphs, inconsistent, flawed assumptions that the Tennessee State Highway Police made in terminating. So either way, there's bad intel that went to the leadership. There was flawed intel that went to the leadership. So here's what they report. During this Victorian car video, November 26, 2011, the grievance violated the dictates of North 216 on November 26. Following a high-speed pursuit of a car that crashed during the pursuit, the grievance drove past the crash site, failing to render aid and assistance to the driver. That failure and the subsequent action to make a show of trying to put out the result fire reflect discredit upon himself and the department. These actions, if taken intentionally, constitute unsatisfactory job performance. So that's the same thing Commissioner and Emma Kim on it is prohibited by general. If those actions were a result of negligence and intention on the grievance part, they constitute negative duty. Either way, the grievance actions, failure to act needed, are a violation of department policy that employees must avoid conduct themselves in a manner which affect negatively on the profession and image of the department. He is therefore subject to listen for causes relating to his performance. Now, that's what the administrative law judge wrote. Exactly what the politician Bill Goober wrote, that has put numerous people in jail in Shelby County, which is a dirty lie from how they framed it. I didn't commit it. I didn't saying that I brought discredit on myself for going after a drunk driver, what they asked me to do, where they asked me to do it. That's how easily they can reframe stuff and write it falsely and incriminate people, which I'm sure he's done a lot of in his life. So we ought to review cases with the Department of Safety. We'll get on the other side of the bridge here. And traffic's getting backed up again. It's Friday morning. So y'all come on in, join me. And we'll read some comments. Run the lights through. What happened to your teeth? Yeah, thank you for being that's over the line to talk about somebody's physical appearance. You can get on here and really, that's pretty abusive. So you're just showing how stupid you are. And 54 bored ass people watching. Okay. No, they're not. So let's talk about Bill Goober. So he's a politician, and the administrative law judge, which is what they do all across America, and in courts of law everywhere, they do and rule exactly how the politicians tell them to. Not according to facts. The expert witness gave you the facts. That is completely unreasonable from any perspective. I just explained to you, a car off the road, the way the person wrecked the car that's not clear to you is not your responsibility. You're being held accountable for how somebody else wrecks their car, and they got that through a courtroom? Really? You're not responsible for how somebody else wrecks their car. That's on them. They should have stopped in the first place. But they got that dirty lie through a court system of making something that's completely illegitimate appear legitimate. You see the lie there, the very clear lie. Lying about the video camera released, the video released. They lie. And their lies cost you Tennesseans and all over the nation your lives to this day. Bill Goober, white-collar crime, affluent, influential crime of privilege, more dangerous than any crime that a citizen could cause. So let's continue with this dialogue talking about white-collar criminals. Covered Bill Goober, Charles Van Morgan in the morning, Charles Van Morgan Show. Thank y'all for joining me. We'll write a book about this stuff. Spell it out completely. If you want to buy it, then let me know. So we'll go over some more stuff here, proof of what these dirtbags do. The hearing is rigged, and they'll rig a hearing for you too. That's why it's important for you to vote these people out, because they're crooked. And and crooked as hell. Here, we'll read you what Bill Goober said in his testimony. This is evidence what he swore to under oath in a courtroom. It says here, Commissioner Gibbons attempts to misrepresent a material fact by misrepresenting responsibility for his department's actions in spite of testimony by the colonel in direct contradiction on the record. Commissioner Gibbons, this is what he testified to under oath. Line 11, parts. There have been testimony in the case that the DVD of the pursuit was released to the media prior to being requested made by the media for that DVD. Are you aware of that? Answer. This is Bill Goober. I recall some conversation about that at the time, but I don't recall the details at this point. It's been a while, but I know there was some conversation about it at that time. What was the conversation? I don't recall any of the details, and frankly don't recall whether or not it was actually released. He don't recall whether or not it was actually released. I don't know. There was some conversation about that. If I represent to you that the testimony in this case was that it was absolutely released prior to the media request, do you know who released it? So he don't know if they released the video trying to back up like they didn't do anything wrong. Trot, deposition, page 11 to page 18. Were you aware that the DVD of the pursuit was released to the media before any request was made to the media for it? Yes, I was. So he says that they don't know if it was released. He's over the colonel. He knows there was a internal affairs investigation over it, and I'm not sure that happened. Yes, I was. Okay, and I'm not sure how that happened. That was my next question. Was there any investigation to who released the DVD without authorization? We attempted to find out, and I can't tell the steps that were taken, but we were very upset by the fact that it was released without our permission, and we were unable to uncover any technology through technology examination of how it was released or who requested it. Did ISB or OPR? Yes. Did they investigate it? They did. So, Commissioner Gibbons attempts to misrepresent real fact, misrepresenting responsibility for the department's action in spite of testimony by the colonel, direct contradiction. So they contradict each other. When you lie under oath, you create a web, don't you? Commissioner Gibbons denies knowledge the department released the video. Gibbons frankly don't recall whether or not it was actually released. Trot, but we were very upset by the fact that it was released without our permission. Same people, same department. It's a mutual fact whether the video was released to the media prior to through proper channels because it goes to someone in the department. Randy Nichols attempting to falsely discredit Mr. Morgan. Yeah, so see how they misrepresent facts. So that's how they, and I got all this stuff that I will put in a book for you if you want to read this. The incident was rigged, and it's caused people to this day to be killed. This is official misconduct, abuse of process, people in power crimes, misuse of legal or procedural mechanism by officials or authorities for personal, political, and improper gain. So they're using a legal process, abuse of process, specifically referring to using the legal system to harass, intimidate, or gain advantage over someone rather than achieve justice. So that's what they did. They used the court system falsely, lying under oath, to achieve something that was false, and filing criminal charges knowing they're baseless to intimidate someone, and using investigations or audits selectively against political enemies, deliberately delaying legal processes to harm someone's reputation or financial status. The law or process itself is misused rather than the act being inherently criminal, though it can be. And also the civil process. So that's what they do. They use legal processes illegitimately, and that's what they do. That's what you're in danger of in Tennessee. You won't hear this anywhere else on any news channel, that the legal process is rigged. They set up legal processes that aren't legitimate, that mistreat and lie to you. So we're gonna take a little break and show you some of the beautiful scenery here in Knoxville, and then we're gonna come back and finish our wrap up on Bill Gibbons and show you some things that hopefully will help you and alleviate some of your fears about crime that I know from criminology that are from science and may help you not be as worried about crime. So we're here to help. Let's look at the beautiful view across Knoxville. So let's see here. Let's see here. So yeah, there we go. I bet the views went down since I messed up I keep hitting that green button. So here's a beautiful view in the morning. View of the Gay Street Bridge closed down. Here's traffic backed up on Gay Street. Some of these crazy people in here. Boo. Oh yeah. And thank y'all. John 3:16, I'll quote that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. So yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. I want to show you some of the beautiful scenery you see in the background here. It's getting daylight. Charles Van Morgan. The Charles Van Morgan Show. Truth to power. Speaking truth to power. Thank y'all for joining me. So we're talking about crimes of privilege, suit crime, government crime, how they are more dangerous to you than street criminals, than what the police go after. So we need a law enforcement agency to go after crimes of the privileged, crimes of the affluent. Let's go after them. That will stop a lot more public harm than street criminals. What Mr. Goober did is still hurting you today. So let's look at some more of the evidence and show you some pictures. And let's talk about some things that will alleviate some of your fears about crime. Okay, a lot of people are concerned about crime, but there is a distortion of crime in the media, a major distortion of crime, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Let's look at some of this evidence we got here to go over this. It's getting a little bit daylight, so we can see some of our paperwork. Like, share, comment, come on in. Thank you for showing up. Charles Van Morgan News Show, a sociological journalist. Some people say I talk 90 miles a minute. Yeah, I talk pretty fast. Got a lot to cover. Thank y'all for hanging with me. And let's see here some of the facts and evidence I have. Let me turn on the light here. So here we go. So we've almost talked for 2 hours, 2-hour show. Might do a 3-hour show. We don't know. We'll see here. Drop the phone. Oh, shoot. Wow. So, yeah, real life stuff happens, don't it? So we'll put it over here. Trying to stay off the bridge so we don't run into people. So we stay out of people's damn way. Okay, we read to you about white collar crime, suit crime, crimes committed by people of privilege. These people right here, these people denying law license, inhibiting free trade, controlling the legal system. These people in Tennessee. Robert Parsley, Geneva Holden, Carolyn Wenzel, Amy Polk, Jason Long are white-collar criminals. They are controlling the legal process, denying people law licenses after they've been paid, after they've been through law school, after they passed the bar exam, because they're stopping people like me from practicing law, from defending you in their courts against their crooked judges. They're stopping free trade. You go to a barber. If a barber is on a board that licenses attorneys, then he has an interest in keeping competition down. These people are practicing attorneys. They have an interest in keeping competition down. They have an interest in upholding the illegitimate system. So they wouldn't give me my law license because some of the things I said about people in government power, well, I bet they really don't like what I say about them because it's the truth. It's not defamation if it's true. They're inhibiting free trade. They're in a conspiracy to inhibit free trade that affects people all over the United States of America. They get money from student loan money. These people, the Board of Law Examiners, get some federal student loan money because students pay them to have their illegitimate hearings they have to in order to get their law license. And they get student loan money to have these illegitimate hearings. And student loan money comes from California. Student loan money comes from New York. Student loan money comes from people all over the world. So the Board of Law Examiners is crooked as hell. Take money from all over the world. Now let me dispel this. People say, we'll talk about this later. People say I'm not an American citizen. Here's my birth certificate. Don't start that conspiracy. Here's my birth certificate. I'm a United States citizen. Born in the USA. I was born in the USA, Charles Van Morgan. John L. Memorial Hutchinson Hospital. So I'm an American citizen. Like, share, comment, subscribe. So here we go. We're talking about white-collar criminals. I know that was said about Obama. I'll dispel that in case I get president. So yeah, I'm trying to be funny. Dispel that myth right now. There's my birth certificate. We'll talk about some more white-collar criminals. Let me sort out the paperwork here. This is about the sociological perspective. And I don't want y'all to be afraid because God is sovereign. And He sent us out here to fight these people. And a lot of people hate me. I'm like a Vietnam veteran. I'm not a Vietnam veteran, but I love my Vietnam veteran buddy here. Out protecting people in society. And they spit on me just like a Vietnam veteran, like Larry Bledsoe says. I'm not a Vietnam veteran, but I know a little bit about how he feels, which is what they did to me. While I was out fighting for the public, the government, people in government power spit on me illegitimately. So yeah, that's pretty horrific, isn't it? And they caused 78 more people to get killed on Tennessee roadways. 78 more that year, and that's going on every year. Run the lights through. I don't know what you're talking about. Good luck with that until we get together and people want to know and do something about it. Rapture. Who is worthy of that? Crazy, ironic. Okay, yeah. So 78 more people that year got killed in 2012. That's the year that they took my job from me. Bill Goober lied. So every year the fatality rate skyrocketed. It's up. It's up 45. Okay, reconnect. You're live. Okay. 78 more deaths that year. Wow, isn't that interesting? Chief. Okay. Isn't that interesting? So that's what these white-collar criminals, these criminals of affluence, have caused more people to get killed. That's how dangerous what they do is. So let's go over some more of the evidence about these white-collar criminals. Thank y'all for staying on board. Here's a white-collar criminal. Does exactly what the commissioner over the Department of Safety tells him to do. He's a judge, Judge Clement Jr. White-collar criminal in the court system in Tennessee. Does what the governor illegitimately tells him to do. So here is, got his degree. Frank Clement from the same school. And look at my degree, same school. Now I just wrote his name in here, but his name is, he's got a name on the degree, got my name on mine. He's a white collar criminal. And he can practice law, but I can't because I'm not a white collar criminal. I won't back up what they say. I'll tell the truth about stuff. That's how they adversely affect, the law board adversely affects honest people. And they're white collar criminals. And this is basic concepts, yet vast majority of the lower social members, yet social control in the largest society also may take the form of one group's domination of an individual or other group in ways that maintain or enhance the interests of the corrosive faction, but are detrimental to those of the corrosive faction. So the way the government is set up, they're detrimental to the public. Here's a picture of the dirty judges that rule for the governor in Tennessee against you. Here's a picture of Tracy Trott that pursued a fake case talking about white collar criminals. Released hundreds of drunk drivers, causing hundreds more people to get killed by pursuing a fake case. So that is Tracy Trott's. He's the one that testified that I seen the wreck, and which is a dirty lie. Which is a dirty lie. I didn't see the wreck. That's a lie. Testified under oath that he came down to the scene because of the seriousness of the incident. But only one person got killed in a drunk driving wreck where they killed themselves. That's not a serious incident. But didn't come down to a wreck in Blount County a few months later. Where an innocent person got killed. That wasn't a serious incident. It didn't come down there because they weren't targeting. They weren't targeting a trooper to try to get him fired falsely in that incident. So he lied under oath. He said because of the serious incident, did he come down to Blount County when 2 people were killed? No, so he lied. He's a liar. He's a white collar criminal. He's a liar. He's caused this 35% more deaths compared to 2022. These are people in government. These are people in government power that cause people to get dead, and the fatality rates went up 10% more. 10% more since then, so it's up 45%. These people in government power, white collar criminals, people with privilege. The colonel of the highway patrol is a white collar criminal. You won't hear that anywhere else. He's a white collar criminal. To this day, he has an effect on the roadways where people have been killed. You won't hear this anywhere else. Colonel Tracy Trott's a white collar criminal. He ought to be in jail. This is how they make a degree useless unless you're someone with power, because of white collar criminals. Worthless degree unless you're someone with privilege. The way we get rid of them, voters of Tennessee enraged and encouraged Charles M. Moore, worthless degree. Well, your efforts don't matter. People think in society, if you work hard, do well, go to law school, graduate, pass the bar, you can practice law and get somewhere in your life and help people. No, you can't. White collar criminals take your life from you, where you can't get a job, defame you, where you can't defend the public. That's a crime with consequences that has wrongly affected me. Now, I'm not a victim of white collar crime. I'm fighting white collar crime back. I'm fighting Tracy Trott's back. So that's what we're doing here, telling you the truth. This crime hurts you too. You're more likely to get hit and killed by a drunk driver because of Tracy Trott's, because of Bill Goober. And that's just a fact. You won't hear that anywhere else, and they do other crimes too. I'm just telling you some I know of. How many other white-collar criminals are in government power? Bunch of them. Vote them out. But so many people got on here, got 55. So, Yes, man. Yes, man. Okay. It says here at the bottom, I think somebody's wanting me to run the lights there. I don't know what they're talking about. So, yeah. Okay. So, white-collar criminals and crimes of the affluent, crimes of the rich. Let's look at another crime they do. They give, there's a news article today where a judge has said that the President of the United States is violating people's constitutional rights by deporting them that are over here on visas for freedom of speech, if they have a right to freedom of speech. But no, they don't. They don't have a right to be over here. They're not born in America. They're not American citizens. And we have a right to not allow them to come over here and say whatever they want in our country. If they come over here, they need to do what they came over here for. But this is one of the crimes that the government commits. We have illegal aliens in power in the government that are telling you what to do. Illegal aliens from other countries come over here illegally, violate the law. There's a big story about the guy the Tennessee State Troopers arrested that they're trying to deport. That's here illegally trying to get American status. That's real impressive for Tennessee Highway Patrol to say that, the governor. But the Tennessee State Highway Patrol has an illegal alien that's a supervisor with THPP. His name is Steve Sacraponi. Look at this. You won't hear this anywhere else either. Steve Sacraponi, standing right beside Hunchback of Notre Dame. Who's your daddy? Illegal alien and enemy of the people of Tennessee in positions of power in Tennessee government over you. So he can stop you. He's from another country, came over here illegal. Illegal alien. Now, the Tennessee government illegitimately gave him legal status. The Tennessee government illegally gave him legal status, so he's legal now because the government judges, these crooked judges, gave him legal status. And they promoted him. So he was illegal. He was working for the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Steve Sacraponi. They come to find out he was an illegal alien, that he was brought over to America illegally, should have been deported, came to America illegally. Doesn't matter how he got here, wasn't born here, didn't go through the proper procedures here illegally. Should have been deported and come back over here legally, if he wants to come back over here. And also it should have been held against him, if appropriate, that he shouldn't have been over here in the first place. Violated our laws. So the Highway Patrol found out he was an illegal alien, was a state trooper. Did they not do a background investigation? I was a state trooper. I was legal. I was born in Georgia. We lived in Tennessee, but born in Georgia. But he wasn't supposed to be here. I had more of a right to that job than he does. They found out he's illegal and they suspended him with pay. And they went through the court system, and the people in power in the government, these dirty judges, gave him legal status. So you say, how can an illegal alien have power over us? Well, who gives people legal status? Dirty judges. So dirty judges awarded him citizenship, and they also made him a sergeant, where he even could tell other people in the Highway Patrol that were born here what to do. So you have Steve Sacraponi, an illegal alien, came over here illegally. The government, in my view, illegitimately gave him legal status, and now he has more authority than you, a born United States citizen. Somebody's born in the USA, has a right to be here, you're born here. And he came over here illegitimately. They made him appear legitimate by giving him legal status. And now he's a sergeant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, got authority over you, came over here illegal alien. That's true. You won't hear that anywhere else. Where's the story behind that? They won't print it in the lamestream media. Illegal alien sergeant. He tells other legal troopers from Tennessee what to do. He brags in the Highway Patrol Academy. People don't sign the ticket. They ask him a question about a ticket. He does a countdown, says you got 4 seconds to sign the ticket. Starts counting out loud. 4, 3, 2, 1. He shows on video where he slams somebody on the ground after 4 seconds because they didn't sign a ticket. Over here, illegitimately. So this illegal alien that they've given legal status to can stop you. You're a citizen. He shouldn't even be here. He can stop you with blue lights that you pay for and put you in jail in 4 seconds for asking him a question about speeding. And he's not even supposed to be here. You won't hear this anywhere else. Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled Truth News. He came down here one time when I was in court testifying under oath for protecting people from drunk drivers, and convinced to get me in office, and he was in training. He didn't even work the road, just a safe position, got 4 walls around him. Convinced to telling me how I should do my job. Now, I listened to him when I was in the training, but he wasn't my supervisor. I had no right to do that. So I let it go in one ear and out the other, trying to tell me how to do my job, trying to mess it up. I want to show you the success of the unruly. This is out of a textbook from and we got 102 people in here. The success of the unruly, William A. Garrison. So we can be unruly and get concessions. Quit going along with the program. Speak the truth about these people. Call them out for what they are. White-collar criminals, dirtbags. Let's change the system in your favor. Charles Van Morgan, power to you, the people. Voters of Tennessee, get enraged. You can get stopped by an illegal alien that they've gave legal status to. That's not just a legal alien trooper. He's a sergeant trooper that can tell other legal troopers what to do. A person from a foreign country, don't have American birth certificate, can tell you what to do. Approved by people in power, white-collar crime. That's what it is. It's white-collar crime by people in power, and we need to get rid of it. So let's talk about white-collar criminals. The government are antagonists to our movement. The government's antagonist. They here we go. They stand in opposition to a movement's adherents and constituents. They stand in opposition to you. People in power are a set of actors or groups who refer to as antagonists. Included among movements, antagonists are the targets of the action. The government's targets, such as city, state, or national government, sometimes a corporation like Exxon, or perhaps a university where research and mission practices are targeted. Any set of individuals, groups, or institutions can be the target of the change movement is attempting to effect. Since many individuals and groupings belong within a movement's environment of operation, they may be only unsympathetic to movement's objectives and activities, but many also perceive the movement's interests as identical to their own. It is not common for counter movements to emerge. The objective of these counter movements is straightforward: to halt or neutralize the goal attainment activities of the movement in the question. Thus, the anti-abortion or pro-life movements emerged in response to the excessive pro-choice movements. So there'll be counter movements to protest us. The government are antagonists. So people in government power are against us. They're antagonists. How many people we got on here? We got 99. Thank y'all so much. Like, share, comment. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Got a lot of people on here. We're talking about crimes of the affluent, crimes of the rich and powerful, that cost more social harm than your street criminals, than bank robbers, than other criminals. And they word things to facilitate the illegitimacy of them. So vocabularies are created that subtly, at times not so subtly, seek to influence the public. That's Erickson's study, 1977. For example, pro-abortion rights groups used to characterize themselves as pro-choice, whereas anti-abortion groups label themselves as pro-life. The term domestic violence invokes a response different from that invoked by the term family or domestic dispute. The term stalker, and particularly more coercive than obsessed follower, such tactics accomplish more than simply gaining a public forum for an issue. They transform the issue into a good versus evil contest, from a personal trouble or to a social problem whereby the public can more easily take a stand. The results of the propaganda, this propaganda is put out by the government, activity by groups contesting the issue often is public indignation about the faction that emerged from the competitive propaganda forces. For the interest group, the creation is a symbolic. For the public, it's real. Offers an illustrative study of the drinking driving laws or laws governing driving under the influence of alcohol. So where the anti-drunk driver campaign, the public now equates the image of a drunk driver with that of killer. Guestfield argues that this concept is at odds with reality, at least it's measured by the type of cases brought before the courts. The most, which are treated leniently. Most at the same point in discussion of the issue of adopted children as a social problem. So these people word and frame things to manipulate the public, to cause you to believe things from a perspective that's false, to use law and their positions of privilege as an instrument of power. Law is an institution expressing common social values controlled by the majority in society. Conflict theorists view law as an instrument of control. Words as a weapon in social conflict, whereas who owns the law owns power. So these politicians, these people in power, own the law because they own power. So they're able to get stuff to a courtroom that's not true. Those who own the right to fight keep it. Those who want it fight to get it. And we're fighting for our rights. So rather than reducing conflict, laws applies it by virtue of status, a resource won by some combated, some lost by others. The point is to illustrate the importance given to nomination of Supreme Court justices. Presidents attempt to fill court vacancies with persons sympathetic to their views, but this is with persons more likely to decide cases in a manner protecting the interests of a given president and the parties the president represents above others. So that's like in Tennessee. The governor promotes people that will illicitly, wrongfully get troopers fired that he wants fired, and also promote falsehoods. That's why they have drunk people in patrol cars, keep their job, and people like me that are trying to get drunks off the road fired, and people that drive drunk, they get to keep their jobs. So let's see if there's any comments. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. We're going to go over a few more things. And let's relieve some of your concerns about crime from a sociological perspective. And read some stuff that I read from churches that will hopefully encourage you, and we'll talk about social movements tomorrow and what we're trying to do. And all these are from this book right here. Give this credit where it's due. Social movements. So that's what we're trying to do, start a social movement to combat the crime wave. The crime wave is people in power. Suit crime, crimes of the privileged, crimes of the affluent. That is the problem in the United States of America right now. Not street crimes. They're not the problem right now. So let's talk about some stuff that'll alleviate your concerns about crime. A lot of people are concerned about crime, and I just want to tell you from a sociological perspective, the news media has a fascination with crime, and the public people have a fascination with crime. So it is heavily covered in the news media, heavily covered. Turn on your television, you'll see shows about crime, you'll see news stories about crime. But there's a distortion. There's more crime than the distortion is that there's more crime covered about serious crimes than are actually serious crimes. The most crimes that are covered are serious crimes because the news media covers murders, rapes, because those are inflammatory and evokes a lot of emotion. So those are crimes heavily reported on. White collar crime's not reported on that much. It's covered up a lot, and it's not heavily reported. And journalists that report white collar crime are a lot of times incarcerated, like this guy in Russia. And the street crime is reported a lot. Rapes, robberies, murders are heavily reported in the news media, and the most serious crimes are reported more often than not. I'm telling you why you shouldn't worry as much as you might do about crime. That the most serious crimes are reported heavily, but they are the less likely to happen because they don't happen that often. But it appears like they do because they're reported more often in the news media because they're inflammatory, they evoke a lot of emotion. So they're heavily covered, and it appears like, the distortion is, it appears like they happen more than what they do, and they really don't happen that much, as often as they should. Crimes most likely to happen are minor crimes, happen more often than serious murders and rapes and violent crimes don't happen that often. The most crimes happen are minor thefts and minor crimes that aren't deadly or intimidating and a nuisance. Nuisance crimes happen a lot, very often, by the millions across the United States every day. But they're not reported much. And white collar crime, crimes of the rich and affluent, happen all the time, but they're not reported on because people have a fascination, the news media has a fascination with serious crimes, with murders, rapes, robberies. So they're over reported. It seems like they happen all the time, and they don't. So although you may hear about murder, rape, and robbery a lot, it's not that likely to happen. It's just not. The most likely thing to happen is minor crimes. Theft, you might get something stolen. Things that are a nuisance and aren't serious crimes are the more likely to happen than murder, rape, and robbery that are over-reported on the news. Even on a snow news day, when there's not a lot of stuff to report, not a lot of news, the news media will report a rape, robbery, murder, go outside the district somewhere to report something, to get news coverage, because rape, robbery, and murders are very inflammatory, and people want to hear about them. People want to hear about rape, robbery, and murders, so they're over-covered. So people think they're more likely to happen. Look at the back up in the road here. My views went down. So they're over-reported. So rape, robbery, and murders are over-reported. But not minor crimes. So don't be afraid of the mass news media about all these violent, serious incidences, because they're over-reported and they're not that likely to happen. So the crimes you see on the news are not that likely to happen to you. The chances of that happening to you are very slim to none. The violent, serious crimes, because they're over-reported in the news media. So if that helps you out thinking about crime in a way that you're more likely to get victimized by a minor crime, something that's just a nuisance. So if you're going to worry about something, worry about a minor crime to happen, because the serious crime, rape, rob, murder, things very bad happening are not that likely to happen to you. So you don't have to be afraid of the biased and slanted news coverage. So we'll be back on here tomorrow. Charles Van Morgan, I bet we've got Charles Van Morgan in the morning. I bet we got over 1,000 subscribers. We'll celebrate that if we do. Thank y'all so very much for joining us this morning. We'll be back on tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning, about 5:30, 6 o'clock for Charles Van Morgan in the morning. Charles Van Morgan Show. We will present truthful news from a journalist sociological perspective. Tell you the truth about things, unbridled. You won't hear this anywhere else. And if there's a news story, we'll cover it. We also might talk about things in the news regarding the death penalty tomorrow. And you won't hear this perspective. You won't hear this truth unbridled from anybody anywhere else, because we're not controlled by the political narrative that people put out to maintain power. We'll just tell you the God's honest truth about things with facts, present our case, and you can believe whatever you want to, but we'll tell you our perspective, which is not the lamestream media perspective, but the perspective of you're going to get raped, robbed, and murdered tomorrow, because that's less likely to happen. So don't be afraid of that. Your chances of getting raped, robbed, and murdered are very, very slim. I'm not saying don't take precautions, but don't worry about it. It's over-reported. If that helped you out any, you learned that from a sociological perspective. So we're going to get off here in just a minute. We're going to walk across the bridge waving, getting some viewers. While we're closing, we're going to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. We'll say that. And that's a message that needs to get out too, broadcast all over the world. We're going to walk across the bridge holding our sign, getting voters' support, likes, and for the movement. And we appreciate y'all being on here. Appreciate y'all showing up. It's Friday morning, early traffic. We're going to show you, hang on here if you want to. We're going to show you waving at citizens and going across the bridge. We're not ashamed or shy, trying to grow the social movement organization Power to You the People. Trying to get viewers and getting our message out. If they take us off YouTube, find us on Rumble, or find us on Telegram. You can also find us on Facebook. Telegram is much less likely to ban us from the program. So you see all the traffic out here. Thank y'all so very much for joining us. We're doing what AI, and we're doing what Google tells us not to do. They tell us after you don't have many views, then many viewers on board, then get off the air. Don't have a real long broadcast, because it'll hurt Google. It'll hurt the YouTube algorithm. But we don't go along with the program, because AI is a product of the government I'm not saying AI is bad, but artificial intelligence doesn't always tell you the truth. So do what you know in your heart and mind. Praying to God tells you to do. You don't have to listen to their program. So we're going to stay on here, even though we got a few views, and we're going to wave at traffic. They tell me not to do this out on a major road where people are at, showing them we're live on there, and trying to get support for this movement. And people think I'm a nut. Yeah, well, we'll get viewers and get attention and be unruly. This is unruly in their mind, but we're not unruly. We're on a public sidewalk, and we'll wave at people and get views. See how many people we can get to wave by. There we go. Got him blow his horn. So we're trying to build up views for our YouTube channel to get the message out about white-collar criminals, people about crimes of the privileged. The reason why you can't get anywhere is because they can. They hoard their power for their own benefit against you. Here's a view of the sun coming up in the morning. So we're not going along with the program. There's a view of the dirty, crooked courthouse, Baumgardner Courthouse, where they maintain power of the corrupt elite, make decisions against you, control the court system illegitimately. Here's our sign we got out. And we're walking across the Henley Street Bridge here in Knoxville, Tennessee, building up views for power to you, the people. It's Friday morning. Doing what YouTube tells me not to. Not YouTube. Doing what AI tells me not to do. Doing what people in power over there in that dirty courthouse don't want me to do. And creating awareness for the social movement organization, Power to You, the People. Worldwide, statewide, USA-wide. Because people in government power are committing crimes against you. These people in privilege are taking your rights away, keeping their boot on your head, and not letting you get up. So we're fighting. This is a form of fighting, political fighting, to help you get up. To help us take over our government power so that it'll serve you and not them. Because that's all it does right now. It serves them. It serves the elite, serves the rich, and they commit crimes against you in order to stay in power. And we are fighting that with the social movement and getting the word out, public information, and broadcasting all over the world and talking about public corruption, crimes of privilege that cause more damage than anywhere else. So we'll wave here. We'll get off here in just a minute. We'll wave here at passing motors, getting attention to the movement, and we'll do whatever it takes to spread the word. Charles Van Morgan, Power to You, the People. Hold up my I love you sign, so you can see here, waving at people, and our sign, getting the message out. On the road, get this, they have funneled more people across this road because they shut down a bridge. So we're using the government stupidity. They shut down that bridge over there. We're using the government stupidity to our advantage. There is the Vols Stadium right over there, the football stadium. You can see, let's see here, Vols, downtown Knoxville. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you subscribe, hit the like button so I'll know that I got another subscriber. And I appreciate the viewers. We're out here trying to get more viewers. Our sign says live, and our sign tells people we're live, so maybe they'll tune in and listen to what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is this channel is set up for the social movement. Charles Van Morgan is the brand name. If they shut me down, they don't like freedom of speech, the government don't. For a social movement, the power to you, the people movement, to get our government power in our favor and stop the exploitation, the criminal exploitation by the people in privilege, by the people in power. And I just showed you how they lie to you, how they manipulate facts, and how they use the corrupt judicial system in the state of Tennessee to even keep me from being a lawyer. But they can't keep me from being the public's lawyer, which I'm doing right now. I'll represent you. We may run for governor, I'm not sure. If you want to donate to the cause, then not for me for run for governor. If you want to donate to Power to You the People, then hit the square icon and donate, and hit like, square, like, subscribe, and donate to help us get the word out. And we might run for governor. Right now you can donate, and I don't have to report it through their state crooked corruption, because I'm not running for governor, and I may not. I'm Power to You the People. So if you donate to keep the channel open, then we don't have to report that to the government. We pay our taxes, but we don't have to report where we're getting stuff from, because I may not run, but I may run for governor. When I do, I'll register with the election commission and report donations. But right now, you know, I'm not. So here's a police officer. We'll wave at the cop. We'll wave at the cop, see if he waves back. Yeah, he's waving back. The cop waved back, so thank you. Yeah, law enforcement pretty cool. Some of them are. And they risk their lives every day. Say thank you to a police officer today. And I'm not saying thank you if they mistreat you, but there's good officers out there. A lot of good ones, and there's a lot of crooked ones too. You don't have to thank the crooked ones. But they can't do anything about the corruption because they'll take their job away from them. I'm sure a lot of them would like to be a part of a special crimes unit arresting crimes of the privilege. A lot of police officers would love to do that. Arrest these big dogs. And they don't like the way things are run. That's why a lot of police support me. They can't publicly or they'll lose their jobs. But there's a lot of good police. Even police are behind me because they want me to straighten out this catastrophe, this government that lies, cheats, robs, and steals and maintains power illegitimately. So I'm not anti-people, the government. I love the government. The government is a good thing. We need a good, accountable government that we don't have now. But I'm trying to get it that way. It's a worthy cause, and we can get it done. It's been done in the past. So we're here on Chapman Highway in Knoxville, Tennessee, drumming up support for Power to You the People. And like, share, donate, comment. And we'll be monetized after today. This movement's taking off. And thank you all so much to the viewers and even the detractors. Blowing their horns, yeah. So we're building up support for the movement, Power to You the People on Chapman Highway. Just showing you, we're not afraid. Look at this. We're not afraid of these of the government. They'd like to sniper me, and they might. I hope not. I try to protect myself for the best I can, but it's dangerous going against people in public power. It's dangerous. So y'all, my followers, be careful. Be careful. I'm not saying don't be bold, but be careful. Realize, understand that there is a force out there, the government, people in power, people like Bill Goober, who are dangerous to your safety, protection, health, and well-being, and will try to damage you. So keep that in mind. As you support the cause, be careful what you do, what you say, and where you go if you're fighting the government. So don't be under an illusion that there's not a great force out there that would like to put us 6 foot underground, because they damn sure would. That's the truth. That's the significance. That's the importance of it. Because we're fighting for you. So let me see how many people I got in here. We'll wave at some people on Chapman Highway. Do exactly what AI tells us not to do. Because we don't follow their rules, because it's designed to keep us down. And they're not going to keep us down. We're going to keep fighting for what's right and what's the truth. And be happy doing it, because that's my calling. That's my forte. I'm a fighter. So let's see how many people got on here. We'll keep waving at people. So yeah, we got about 30-something people in here. Hopefully y'all are not bored to death. And yeah, man, the comments quit coming. Comment, like, share. I might have turned the comments off. I don't know. Accidentally, if I did. So we'll keep waving at people. So you see my waving. You see me out here waving at people. There we go. See if they wave back out here on Chapman Highway. See if they wave back. No, they didn't wave back. When they don't wave back, I point at them, go down. The cops ain't gonna. That cop ain't gonna. Source officer. So here comes the train. Oh man, train in the morning. That's so. Join the movement. Power to you, the people. We'll get off here when we please, and when we think it's right. Thank y'all for watching, and I pray for y'all. May God bless y'all in Jesus' name. I pray. May God bless and protect me, and may God bless and protect mostly my family. In Jesus' name I pray, and God does. God's in control of the stuff, so don't worry. Trust the Lord, and He will help and protect you, and He does me. He's put me through a lot of trouble to fight this good fight for you all. So, and we're going to keep fighting it. We're going to keep doing what y'all want Him to do. We're not going to do it. Trying to get him to hit the air horn. I got him too late though. So traffic is pretty slow actually on a Friday. We're going to get off here. Thank you all for showing up today. We're going to get off here in just a few minutes. Let's see if we can get a few more subscribers. We have got, it says 56 likes. So let's get 57. If you subscribe, hit the like button so it'll show me 57, and then I'll know I got at least one more subscriber. When we get 57, then we'll wrap it up and get off here. So if you want me to shut up, then hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. We're promoting Power to You, the people, to citizens in the city of Knoxville. We'll go all over the state. There we go. We got a like. Yeah, that we did. Somebody wants me to shut up. We got to subscribe because they hit the like button. So we'll go all over the state. Power to You, the people movement. All over the United States, if it's necessary, fighting crimes of the privilege that have infiltrated our government. We'll be back on here tomorrow morning, about 6:30, with another message. We're going to talk about the social movement, organization, what we're about and what we're doing. Unbridled news. We might talk about some of the things going on in the news about the death penalty from an educated perspective. What do y'all think about it? Thank y'all so much for showing up. And I bet when I hit the close button, I bet I've got over 1,000 viewers. So it's a great day, a high water, high mark to get over 1,000 viewers. And it's because of you all. I sure appreciate it. I'm on your team. I'm on your side. I'm not on the people in power side. I am fighting them at my own demise and my own expense and my own danger. But don't worry. We will pray and stay safe and protect ourselves. And we're in a position where this is the right thing to do. We are leading this movement. Power to You, the people. Unbridled news. And last thing I always say is God loves you, and I do too. Till tomorrow morning.